Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Quick Launch Live. I'm really excited about today's and the next few upcoming sessions. So we're going to jump right to it. But a few housekeeping items quickly. Please do put your questions in the chat. We want to hear from you, address whatever we can on the session, and just have some fun. Maybe put in the chat where you're watching us from today. It's fun to see where everybody's viewing from. Finally, keep in mind if you go to the Preferred Strategies LinkedIn company page, all these events are there so you can see them on demand. One favor, if you do, just put a comment that you're watching, or if you have a question, we like to see that the content's getting out there. But without further ado, it's my sincere pleasure to welcome joining us today. Our guest hails from the San Francisco Bay Area. He loves snowboarding, flying, he's a pilot, and of course, deep appreciation for data analytics. Please welcome Preferred Strategy CEO, Mr. Todd Wilson. Todd, welcome to the team and to the cast today.
Well, thanks very much, Frank. It's really great to be at Preferred. We're great to join you today and great to have joined the team for this exciting next stage ahead.
Thank you, Todd. So just to kick off, what brought you to Preferred Strategies? I think that's good for the audience to hear.
Well, I've actually been connected to Preferred now for about 10 years. First as a customer using QuickLaunch during my time at Cliff Bar, and then joining the Preferred Advisory Board about 5 years ago. And so I've been able to follow the company, follow the team, get to know much of the team. What impressed me most 10 years ago is still true today. It's great people, it's a great product, and it's a great commitment to our customers and to our mission in being excellent at analytics. That's still true as I've been now on the inside. The people are as great as I expected, the product's as great as I expected, and that commitment has not changed.
Thank you, Todd. And speaking of that, how are you settling in at Preferred so far? How's it been going?
Well, it's just been an awesome first 45 days getting to meet and really spend time with the team, some for the very first time, to understand the challenges and opportunities across the company, to dive deep into our product strategy, understand how we support our customers, and begin to build our growth strategy going forward. The team's been incredibly welcoming, and I've had the pleasure of meeting several customers and partners already. And since I was already fairly familiar with our current state, it's been exciting to see that those opportunities ahead are even exceeding my initial expectations.
Excellent. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. And thanks for that context. Do you mind, Todd, telling us a little bit about your background and career? I think that would be helpful as well.
Sure. Yeah. So I would say my career is a bit unorthodox. I started my career as an intern on Wall Street, which somehow turned quickly into a software career. Ended up working closely with the emerging data warehouse space at the time. Then my wife and I, who was from California, we moved to the San Francisco Bay Area, where I had a chance to join a consumer software company. Eventually, that gave me a chance to start my own company that was a web-based business intelligence platform, similar in many ways to what we're doing with QuickLaunch today. We built and sold that company, which later became part of Microsoft. I then had the chance to join Cliff Bar as the CIO for almost 8 years. Cliff Bar had been one of our customers from that startup, and then after joining Cliff Bar, became a QuickLaunch customer. Can't take credit for that; that had already happened, but I got to be there from the very beginning of the implementation. For the last 2 years, after leaving Cliff Bar, I was the CIO and also responsible for Far East operations for a consumer packaged goods company, Kids Too. I do believe that each of these stops along the way really has provided valuable lessons in preparation for supporting this next chapter of what we see ahead with Preferred Strategies.
Tremendous. And Todd, you've had a chance now to meet some of our very tremendous clients that we have and customers. I'm just curious, what's kind of the theme, or what are you hearing from them that maybe excites you, or even perhaps allows you to see more opportunities for us to serve them?
Yeah, I think what excites me most is I see customers in all points in their data-driven journey. Some really just dipping their toe in it for the first time. Some very advanced, and at every step of the way, what we get to do is partner with them to be that trusted analytics platform and team, so that they don't have to worry. Are we keeping up with everything that is ahead? Do I understand what's coming? without having to hire a team of data scientists for
Mhm.
their emerging needs around AI, or hire people to build the next new thing. Instead, we're providing that platform, and we're always looking forward, always trying to stay ahead of the very best in analytics, and helping companies from the very beginning of that journey and all the change management and adoption that comes along with that, right through that journey to the point where we have some customers coming to us and saying, "Here's what we did with your tool. Now here's what we need to do next. How do we build on that?" And we're able to use the very latest in analytics technology that either is on the market or that we're building and developing internally to be able to solve those business needs. So I think having that end-to-end focus on analytics, for me, being a bit of a data geek my entire
Mhm.
career, there's just no more exciting place to be.
Thank you, Todd. And I want to ask you something else. And thinking about this again, talking with customers, your background, former CIO, right? And we'll talk more about that, I think, on the next session. But certainly more technical than the average individual, I would say. But one thing I find real exciting from my standpoint when we're engaging with our clients is seeing folks unlock the power of their data that aren't necessarily IT, proficient. That's not their strength. They know the data, they know what they need. Um, and they're building their own content. And I'm just curious, you may not, but I'll ask if you have any thoughts around that, or the power of that, or what you've seen even in your own past experience with maybe non-technical business users.
Yeah, I think what I've seen, if you find the right kind of tools, the right kind of technology that removes you from as much of the difficult part of that. There's all sorts of terms that we've used over time. There's the citizen developers is one of the more recent ones. But I think of it as we've
Hmm.
got a lot of decision makers throughout organizations, and we often have them doing far too much data collecting. Often the tool of choice is Excel, and we're manipulating that data and spending an inordinate amount of time instead of spending that time on real value-added work. If you're paying an analyst to make good decisions based on data, and they're spending 90% of their time just getting that information into Excel, then that's a huge loss. The opportunity loss on all that time means the decisions that they would have otherwise made or the recommendations they would have otherwise made are lost. Often
Hmm.
that's a monthly cycle that then just starts again, sometimes even a daily cycle. So I think the more you can remove the challenges and technical pieces of technology and make that a very fluid process so that you've got the right kind of decision makers able to use that data in meaningful ways, timely ways, and be able to even predict what's going to happen and make good decisions based on that.
Excellent. And we do have a question from the audience. How, in your opinion, do business users learn how to use this tool?
Yeah, so as part of our implementation, we do have training that's some that's required, some that's recommended. While much of it is very intuitive, understanding the real power of it sometimes does take a bit more training. But what
Hmm.
we've seen is that initial training will often develop some of the solutions that we never even foresaw in our platform, because those customers have specific needs, and once they're up to speed, once they've been acclimated through that training process, then they're off and running. That training comes in other forms as well. We have recurring training that's available, whether it's customized. We have some that's published and available on a regular basis. That makes it that much more seamless to perhaps be a part of an initial training. Let's say it's General Ledger, tap in JD Edwards through Power BI, QuickLaunch. Well, a couple months go by and you need a refresher because that was too far removed from when you first started doing it. Having that hands-on workshop, having that hands-on recording to refer to, having that customized version that's for each specific implementation gives you a point in time to go back to and quickly get back up to speed. So in short, we've got a very comprehensive, really outstanding training team that focuses specifically on making it as easy as possible.
Todd, thank you. And yeah, I think what it really equates to is proper training equals greater adoption across the team. And I think we've seen that firsthand. So I appreciate your commentary there. I did have one other one with the time we have left. I wanted to touch on a bit. You kind of, I think, alluded to it or prompted the thought. in my head about build versus buy. We run into a lot of clients where, excuse me, they have an end tool, Power BI, Excel, and they know it pretty well, so they feel like they're pretty far along the way to being data driven. So they'll build their own. And as you know, we have many clients that have tried that. It's hard. And on top of building your own, you also need your team to be staying on top of all the technology that's rapidly evolving. That's difficult to do. I was just curious if someone, were to ask you, uh, geez, I think we can build our own. We have some really smart folks. And I know you were in this situation. Why buy versus build in your opinion?
Yeah, I certainly would have been one of those CIOs who said that, partly because we had such a skilled team that really knew the back end ERP system, and many of our customers, whether it's Vista, JD Edwards, Salesforce, take your pick. They've got really talented people that understand that data that could get that job done. But that's only one piece of it. You then spend the time to properly create the transformation of that data, getting it into incremental loads where that's feeding the operational data store or feeding
Mhm.
in-memory data sets. Then to understand the front end tools takes an entirely different skill set. And you think about DAX and all that goes into the time-based calculations and the power in that. That not only is a steep learning curve and a new language to learn, but it also changes all the time. Microsoft is releasing a new version every month, and we're taking the burden off of those teams by making that always up to date, always leveraging that technology. So, I said I couldn't take credit for selecting QuickLaunch at Cliff Bar. I probably would not have selected QuickLaunch at that time because I would have been convinced that we could build it ourselves. And 3 years later, I probably still would have been convinced. But fortunately, I didn't have to make that decision. It was already made. And what I saw in just a short period of time, just a few weeks, we saw the out of the box capability that we could not have matched, even though we had such a skilled set of people that really understood most of the layers of that technology stack. What that meant, though, was we didn't waste all of that time, a couple of years at least, trying to get to that point. Instead, we immediately started focusing on the other value that could be included with other data sources. Much like other customers that we've seen, we tried to really leverage the power of that in a much shorter time scale, and then really saw the benefits from that. Plenty of examples at Cliff Bar alone, how we've done that. I've
Mhm.
already seen some good examples of other customers in my time here at Preferred, where they shortened that cycle, and by doing so, we're able to unlock new value they didn't even think was possible.
Well, Todd, I appreciate that overview. And in fact, you mentioned your experience at Cliff Bar as a sneak peek, folks. I think we're going to be fortunate enough for Todd to come back next week. We'll dive deeper into his analytics journey at Cliff Bar, probably share some examples, maybe a few other client examples, but really take a look at Todd's firsthand experience at Cliff Bar. And then the next session after that, I think we're going to touch on what's the future look like, what's coming from Todd's opinion. And I look forward to hearing that one myself. It's all great. So, Todd, I want to say a sincere thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. And any other parting words before we close up?
No, just thanks again, Frank. Thanks for the opportunity, and thanks to the team at Preferred as well as all of our customers that have just really provided a great welcome. It's a really exciting place to be.
Thank you, Todd. And for the audience out there, please remember every single one of us at Preferred Strategies are really passionate about your data journey. We're willing to help. If you have any questions, reach out to myself, anybody on the team. If you watch the recordings online after the fact, please let us know. And if there's some questions that come from that, again, that's what we're here for. So thank you all in the audience today. Todd, a sincere thank you to you. I look forward to next week's. Take care, everybody.